Hey, have you ever streamed your games and movies with your friends on Discord? Have you ever wondered how exactly that works? What about other applications, such as Twitch? Does it work the same as Discord, or does it use different codecs? Let's explain that.
For video and audio, we use compression to help reduce the amount of data we need to send over a signal so that we use less bandwidth. There are different types of compression codecs such as H.261 and H.263, but Discord specifically uses an open source encoding codec called OpenH.264 made by Cisco.
Open source means that anyone has access to the source code and can use or alter it to fit their compression needs. Discord is one of two well-known companies that use OpenH.264, with the other being Mozilla Firefox.
This webinar will go in detail about the compression codecs used for Discord and explain what they mean, as well as the codecs for Twitch. They will also be compared and their different codec functionalities will be pointed out.
The main video codec that Discord uses is OpenH.264. There are two kinds of similar codecs, such as H.265 and H.263, but they're not commonly as used, as H.264 is the current standard for video compression.
OpenH.264 relies on a different method for its temporal compression. Typically, H.264 compression is created by a structure of I, P, and B frames placed together. I frames are intraframes, P frames are predictive frames, and B frames are bidirectional frames. I frames are the anchor frames that contain the data. B frames consist of frames that can take information from other frames that are before or after, and then P frames only take data from frames that have come before it.
In temporal compression, an iframe is an image frame and is the beginning of a group of pictures, or a GOP, and contains most of the data. The iframe is then followed by either a B or a P frame. The P frame and B frames are created through referencing adjacent frame vectors and predictive corrections in order to create a smooth transition between frames.
Their order can impact how much latency between the frames or how much memory is required to decode the information. In a common temporal structure, the order in which the I, P, and B frames follows as I, B, B, P. It always has to end on a P frame. This allows for the best compression ratio, but it is hard to edit after compression has been applied. OpenH.264 uses a low delay structure and also long-term reference frames. OpenH.264 uses the temporal structure I, P, 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 where the P frames are repeated until there is another I frame.
This basic structure creates low delay and minimal decoder memory. Now, OpenH.264 also applies LTR to the structure. Because the structure uses low amount of memory, LTR is able to store the iframe in memory and apply to references to all P frames within the group of pictures. This allows for smoother streams of frames during live broadcasts while minimizing delay on that stream.
In addition to the LTR reference framing, OpenH.264 also implements instantaneous decoder refresh, or IDR, frame insertion. IDR acts upon the framing structure, where it creates a special type of iframe that clears the reference buffer of frames before the special iframe, so that the P frames after the iframe do not use any frames before the iframe as reference.
This lowers the amount of distortion that would appear in a stream, making it more easier and responsive as an encoder. Because H.264 allows for customized IDR frame insertion with periodic and on-demand options, this can be edited to appeal to the needs of the user.
Discord contains a feature called H.264 hardware acceleration. This option allows for users who have a GPU installed into their PC to process the Open H.264 encoder instead of their CPU. Because GPUs are focused mainly on image processing and frame buffering, this is an optimal choice for having video data compression performed while reserving the CPU's memory for other processes. This allows for even more efficiency during streams, as Discord is mainly targeted to users with higher specifications in their PCs.
The audio codec that is used is Opus Interactive Audio Codec, and is used for other applications such as voice over IP in WhatsApp and PlayStation 4. Opus is developed by Ziff.org, which is a non-profit corporation that develops different codecs that are widely available for the general public to use. Opus supports both constant bitrate (CBR) and variable bitrate (VBR), and it also supports bitrates between 6 kilobits per second and 510 kilobits per second. The sampling rates can vary between 8 kHz, which is a narrow band, and 48 kHz, which is a full band.
Opus also has something called Packet Loss Concealment, or PLC, which prevents data packets from getting lost in voice over IP or arriving corrupted or late.
Discord also uses a software called Crisp. As explained on Discord's support site, it simply applies a filter to the audio so that it filters out higher and lower frequencies where most noise is apparent.
Another streaming platform is Twitch. Similar to Discord, Twitch is intended to stream live content generated on the spot, but where Discord and Twitch differ is in the presentation. Twitch is designed for mass streaming, with more popular streamers achieving viewer counts upwards of 15,000 people, while Discord is meant for much smaller audiences, like around 5 people.
This means is that Discord would rather prioritize faster streaming to function with the voice over IP at the expense of quality, while Twitch will have a buffer between what the streamer sees and what the viewer sees in order to prioritize the quality.
An example of this within specifications is the structure of the GOP. As mentioned earlier, Discord can't use B-frames as the content is live, but Twitch does use B-frames because of the delay. It can use data from frames that are both in the future and in the past, which results in a higher quality stream, which is similar to how actual live television broadcasting is presented.
Was a brief summary of how Discord compresses video and audio for an in-app streaming service, as well as how it compares to other streaming services such as Twitch. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video.